Francis, we're filming. Hey guys, it's Stella. Welcome back to my channel, Fly with Stella. Today I am adding another video to my Becoming a Flight Attendant series. This video is titled, What are Flight Attendant Crash Pads? And kind of all about them. This video is broken up into 3 parts. The first part is going to be just a basic definition of what crash pads are. The second part is going to be my experiences and the details of where I lived in my crash pad. And number 3 is going to be my top 5 pros and cons of living in crash pads. All right, so let's get right into it with the first part of the video. What are crash pads? So basically, when I first became a flight attendant, I had no idea what a crash pad was. I didn't even know it existed. But basically, I have figured it out. So a crash pad is very affordable housing where flight attendants and pilots live. Typically, a crash pad is in a house or an apartment. It is located very close to the airport that the flight attendants and pilots work out of, and it's very affordable, between $200 and I would say $450 per month to stay there. Crash pads can be great for new hires because if you've watched my cons video, you know that new hires don't make a very large salary. So we don't have a lot of money. So I think crash pads are very convenient for brand new flight attendants and also commuting flight attendants. What a commuting flight attendant is somebody who lives in a different city or state where they are based out of. So somebody could be based out of New York but live in Washington, D.C. and they might need to fly in, and this is where a crash pad would be awesome because it's just there as basically a hotel, and the person can fly back to their normal home or house and live there, but they use their crash pad for maybe the night before their flight or the night when they come back from their flight until they can get back home. Moving into the second part of this video is my experience at my crash pad in New York. Basically, my crash pad was located right outside of LaGuardia Airport. I could walk. It was an apartment complex. I was on the 3rd floor. It had 2 bedrooms. There was 8 of us who lived in the crash pad. So there was 2 sets of bunk beds in each room. So 4 girls per room, and there was 1 bathroom that we shared amongst all 8 of us. Rent was $300 a month, and this included a bed in one of the bunk beds, a cold bed. So there are hot beds and cold beds. Basically, cold beds are, it's your bed for the month. You put your sheets on it. Nobody else can sleep in it. It's yours. A hot bed is where you get to that crash pad that day and you claim whatever bed is available, and you have your sheets that you put onto that bed for that evening or that day. So I had a cold bed. So it was $300, and what the $300 included was the cold bed, toilet paper, paper towels, cleaning service, internet, cable, and bonus HBO. So I know those are kind of like weird things to be included in a living situation, but I can tell you that paper towels and toilet paper, the landlord providing this for you takes away so much drama and fighting and stress. Because say you're a new hire flight attendant, you don't have a lot of money, you go to the store, you buy 4 rolls of toilet paper, you go away for a 3-day trip, you come back and it's gone. And you don't have any toilet paper in the house. It's very frustrating and can cause problems and tension with your roommates. So by the landlord providing it, there's just less fighting. That, you know, we went downstairs, we picked up the toilet paper, we brought it up to the apartment, and there's no fighting. I can tell you that when I lived in my crash pad, it was awesome, awesome, awesome. I loved it. It was a combination of flight attendants, and there was pilots at one point, and it was just, we all worked for different airlines, and we all worked out of LaGuardia. Some of us worked out of LaGuardia and JFK, and it was just really nice to come home, share stories with your roommates, if you had a bad trip and you come home, you can sit there and talk with your roommates. I made a lot of friends. I had a ton of fun. It was a great location right next to the subway and the buses, and you could hop on and go everywhere. I didn't need a car. So it was a good location, and I just had a really good experience, and I loved my landlord. He was very responsive, so we would text him and he would respond within a few hours to anything. If there was a situation at the crash pad, whether it was a fight or whether there was, something broken or almost any issue, we could text him up until like 11 o'clock at night almost. He was like always awake. He owned 5 or 6 crash pads around the New York area. So he kind of had this crash pad thing down to a T. I mean, he knew exactly how to run it and how it worked, and he was awesome. So I do have his information if you guys want. If you're looking for housing or crash pads in New York, I have all his information. All you have to do is message me. So let's move on to the third part of this, which is my top 5 pros and cons of living in a crash pad. Pro number 1. It's affordable, ding, ding, ding. I would say between $200 and $450 a month when you're a new hire flight attendant is awesome. It's totally affordable to live in crash pads. Number 2, most of the crash pads are very conveniently located, so walking distance to work. Number 3, pro, most of the crash pads do not require you to sign leases or contracts. So if your crash pad is asking you to be locked in for more than 6 months, I would not recommend that crash pad, because the whole point of a crash pad is it's easy to get in and it's easy to get out. Number 4, pro, is that it helps you get used to a new city. Being at a crash pad, it's so affordable and convenient, and you move to a new city as a new hire flight attendant and you just can get used to your area and your surroundings, and then maybe you can branch out and go look for other housing, but it's awesome for kind of getting you acclimated to a new city. Number 5, pro, is it helps you meet other flight attendants. When you're a brand new flight attendant, you're scared, you're lonely, you're going onto the line and you don't know everything. So when you live in a crash pad, there's other flight attendants. Most of them are gonna be, some are also gonna be new hires and you can share your experiences with them, and some are gonna be older and have been flying for several years, and you're gonna be able to get their wisdom and knowledge. Either way, you're gonna live with other flight attendants and you're gonna be very comfortable talking and having conversations with them because they're all doing the exact same thing you're doing. All right, moving on to my top 5 cons of living in a crash pad. Starting with con number 1. Worst thing about crash pads, bunk beds. Oh my gosh. I am a grown adult woman and I sleep on a bunk bed. Awful, awful, awful. Worst con of crash pads, bunk beds, hands down, done. Number 2 con of being in a crash pad is you have no privacy. Chances are you live with between 6 and 12 other people. Sometimes they're co-ed, sometimes they're not. And you have no privacy. Nothing is yours, no privacy. There's always gonna be somebody there. Number 3 con is it's a shared space. So this means you share your bathroom space, you share your refrigerator space, you share your closet space, you share all your space. It's all shared space. Nothing's yours. Number 4 con of living in a crash pad is it's high turnover. So you might get into this crash pad and there's a group of girls that you really like, or you've really connected with somebody. You go walking with them, you maybe work out with them, you've gone to dinner with them, you're very comfortable with them. And then they get their transfer and they leave. Or they find another apartment that they've been waiting on and they leave the crash pad. A lot of people don't stay in crash pads for very long, so there's high turnover and sometimes you just really miss the person that was living there and they're unreplaceable. And number 5 con of living in a crash pad is getting along with others. Sometimes you've just had a bad day or you just don't have the same personality as somebody else in your crash pad, but you always got to remember that you have to get along. But sometimes this doesn't always happen. There's drama in the crash pads, there's bickering, there's fighting, she drank my milk, she ate my eggs, whatnot. So a con is trying to just get along with everybody. Sometimes it can be difficult, but you gotta do it. Okay guys, again, I am Stella and this was my all about Crash Pads video. Again, it is part of a series, Becoming a Flight Attendant, so if you haven't watched my other videos, I will link them down below so you can check those out if you need any interview tips or image tips for your face-to-face interview. I have all those videos down below. I hope this helped. I know this video was highly requested. I got a lot of messages about Crash Pads and to go into further detail about Crash Pads. So I hope this helped. Again, if you guys have any questions, please comment down below as well. And if you guys need personal one-on-one advice or help with anything, always request to be my friend on Instagram and message me there. I check those messages daily. I do get back to everybody. Even if you just send me a, hey, Stella, you're awesome, I will get back to you. Sometimes it's right away if I'm on Instagram at that moment. Sometimes it'll take a few days to get through my messages, but I will always respond if you need help. So please let me know and subscribe if you want more videos like this one. Thanks guys, bye.